Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you are well. Hope you are hope you're looking forward to the weekend's fixtures. We've got Man United in action on Sunday afternoon. It's going to be another huge game against Crystal Palace. We're going to go through a few breaking news first, and then we'll look ahead to the game. And of course, we'll be watching the presser from our manager, our interim manager, Michael Carrick, and we'll get to hear what he had to say about the team news, about everything else that's going on, and the big call that he's going to have to make on the weekend, which is, will he be starting Benjamin Sesko or will he still be on the bench? Because the pressure is growing. It's like it's just going to explode, isn't it? It's going to explode. There's so many fans calling for him to start Sesko, but I'm not one of those. I believe that Sesko coming off the bench in these games is proving a lot more useful than starting him. I might be completely wrong, and you might disagree with me, but that is my thought process. I feel like Carrick knows exactly what he's doing. He's protecting the player. He knows that we're going to put a lot of pressure on him if he doesn't succeed in the first half, and then it could have a knock-on effect in the second half. Whereas in the first half, I think, no, when he comes on, he does a lot better. Anyway, let's first talk about the big news breaking this evening, and that is on Marcus Rashford. Now, we kind of brought this news to you about a couple of days ago, so it's not a surprise to me, and it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody who's watching the show on a regular basis. Now, 2 days ago, I did a live stream, and I discussed how I had received some news about Marcus Rashford, the deal being done with Barcelona. Now, it's a difficult one with Barcelona because Barcelona play absolute games in the transfer market, and especially when they come to negotiations. And I feel like United need to be on the ball when they're discussing things with Barcelona, because Barcelona, I think, are trying to pull our pants down once again. Once again, they're trying to do this whole thing about, we haven't got any money, we're skint, so we're going to pay you next to nothing for Marcus Rashford. So please accept our pittance and just let us have Marcus Rashford on next to a nothing deal, right? And of course, the player wants to play for us and he wants to stay at Barcelona. I don't know why. I don't know why players want to play for Barcelona when there's no guarantee that they might even get their bloody salaries paid. But anyway, forget all that. Marcus Rashford, we know, doesn't want to come back to Manchester. We were discussing this, even the talk of whether Michael Carrick should open the doors back for him and bring him back. And we kind of agreed, majority of the chat agreed that Marcus Rashford should stay exactly where he is. Let's let bygones be bygones. He's gone. He's happy there. We're happy with our new team, our new squad. And we've got Kuna there. We've got Dogu there, hopefully back from injury. So let's not go and get Marcus Rashford back in again and kind of destroy that harmony that we've got in the dressing room. Because look, let's be honest, we're not hearing those rumours again now. We're not hearing rumours about the dressing room being in complete disarray and players not being happy and leaking information and so forth. It's just not that kind of dressing room anymore. Everybody there seems like they gel together and they're working hard together as a team. There's no prima donnas, and Marcus Rashford was a prima donna. Yes, look, he's a great player. I like watching him and I wish him the best of luck at Barcelona. I want him to do well. But I just felt like he had an ego problem. He had an ego problem. He had an attitude problem. And I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. And I felt like it was bringing the rest of the team down as well. And that, for me, is where you have to draw the line. You have to say, actually, this guy's not just bad for himself, but he's bad for everybody around him. He's bad for the team. He's bad for the dressing room. He's bad for the young players coming through, looking up at Marcus Rashford thinking, right, he's our role model. But if he's not behaving, if he's going out on a night out before a big game, coming, like calling in sick, I mean, what is all that about? What is all that about? Of course, we don't want him back. We don't want him back. We want him to stay. Right, okay, the volume's low. Right, okay, sorry about that. Let me just... Let me put it on. Thanks, Rick. Welcome to the show. I've just noticed your. I've got no feed running through, so let me just hold on. It'll kick in. It's a late night. You should hear me Now you should be able to hear me a lot more crisp. I
apologize. It's late night stream, and I don't usually do a late night stream, but I kind of I've not set up the system properly like I should have. I should have done all this, but I was rushing it through. I was looking at the time thinking, I don't want to jump on too late. I don't want to jump on late where everyone's foot fell asleep. And I was thinking, right, do you know what? I want to get on just before bedtime maybe. And I thought, if I play the Carrick presser, it might help people to go to sleep. Because let's be honest, he's pretty boring. He's pretty boring when it comes to pressers. But look, I'm enjoying that as well. So Marcus Rashford, the news is that Barcelona are very close. In fact, we've heard that they've agreed a deal with Man United, and behind closed doors, obviously behind the scenes, it's been all done and dusted, and it's now just a matter of time for them to announce it. Obviously, we're not sure when, but we're hearing that an agreement has reached, in principle, an agreement has been reached. That could mean a lot of things, couldn't it? I mean, for me, until you don't hear, concrete information about Barcelona actually announcing that they've signed Man United's striker or forward, Rashford, I don't think we can take it as gospel. But what we can see is that Barcelona are really interested in sealing the deal before the end of the season, because they are worried that there'll be other clubs around Europe that'll be looking at Marcus Rashford thinking, oh, we fancy a bit of him. He's only 25 mil for Marcus Rashford. That's a steal in today's market. It's an absolute steal. He's still got many, many years in him, and he's still performing. It's not like he's fell off. He's actually absolutely cooking at Barcelona, and anyone watching him would be thinking, all right, we could have him. We could bring him on for 25 mil. It's a perfect gamble. Let's just do it. So Barcelona want to get this done and dusted. What the crazy thing is that for me, Barcelona also, there's been rumours about them wanting Leacher, but if they can't afford bloody Marcus Rashford, just enough with this rubbish about wanting Leacher as well. You ain't got any money. You're skint. So go back to where you were. Just go and carry on playing in La Liga and go and sort your shit out first financially before you come knocking on our door for any other players. You're lucky that Marcus Rashford fell out with Ruben Amorim and we kind of had to let him go. And he was sulking around. Something wasn't quite right, was it? Something wasn't right about Marcus Rashford at United. He just didn't seem like he was interested in playing for Man United. For whatever reason, there was something not quite right with Marcus Rashford. And we could all see it. Within the first 5 to 10 minutes of every game, he would just throw his dummy out. And you do not want a player on your side like that. And if you've ever played football on any level and you've got one or two teammates who are just sulking and never really up for it, it just destroys the team morale, and you just feel like you get more pissed off with him or with that player than you do with the opposition. And you start concentrating on that one player or two players that are your team's having to carry. And I felt like that's what it was like for United. I felt like we were just always carrying the likes of Marcus Rashford and Garnacho and a few others that we now have seen the back of. And I feel like we're getting the best performance from these players now because there's no distractions. Anyway, let's focus on the presser this morning, right? This morning we had the presser. Where is it? Wait, what have I done there? What have I done? Let me trigger something there. Hold on. Sorry if you just heard an echo. Let me just sort this out. Now, let me bring up the presser because that was what I wanted to actually watch with you guys. Here we go. Okay, so this is the Michael Carrick presser we just had today. Quite interesting. I've not watched all of it. I've watched a few clips of it, but I wouldn't mind watching it with you guys so you can all enjoy it with me together. So we'll just put that on. Let me just do this. There's some interesting points he's made. So hopefully we can learn something about the weekend's team. There's big question marks. He's got a big call to make, hasn't he, about Sesko. We all know that a player on that kind of form, scoring goals now on a regular basis, is probably knocking on the door to start. But then, what call do you make? Do you play a youngster knowing that, look, it could be too early, or do you just throw him in the deep end and hope that it all works out? I feel for Carrick, I really do, because I feel like he's trying to protect him, but the media and the fans are all on his back saying, we want him to start, and I can understand what Carrick is doing. Anyway, let's listen in to the presser and what he had to say.
We've asked a few times about Mason Mount and Matthias de Ligt. What is the situation with them? Because Matthias has not played since last time United played Palace, and Mason scored against Palace, so it's kind of a shared history.
Yeah, Mason's getting closer, really. He's on the grass. He's getting closer, so he's looking to kind of train and being around it pretty soon. So he's getting close. Just had to be patient, really, a little bit. And listen, he's a big player for us, Mace. So looking after him, making sure he's ready, and big finish to the season. So good news that he's getting really close. Matthias a little bit. He's had a back issue, which is just been a little bit slower to progress, really. It's
that's the Ligt he's on about.
Something that we've been kind of working through, and he's getting there. He's in the right direction, but as I said, he's just a little bit further behind. So it's one of those things that's disappointing.
For the rest of the season at this rate.
It's unfortunately part of football, so we'll get him back when we can.
Is there even a remote timescale for him? Because obviously when he was injured the first time, Ruben said, "Oh, well, he'll be back like next week," and clearly we're months down the line now. We've got an international break coming up. What?
No, it's just the nature of the injury and the kind of issue in the back that it's a difficult one to kind of pin down in some ways, and especially time-wise. So he's definitely improving, so that's a good thing, and we're just working towards that. Really, there's not much at this stage that I can give you anymore.
Timeline. That's a really that's.
Afternoon, Michael. One player you'll be familiar with is Harry Maguire from your previous stint at the club. Just wonder, when you've returned, what kind of player you now see ahead of you, and of course his contract situation. Did the club plan to maybe sit down with him in the near future, just about what his future could look like?
Harry's he's an impressive character. You know, he's obviously he's had a great career so far. There's hopefully there's a lot more to come. I think even what he's been here, and the journey and the experiences that he's had, certainly since he's been here and with England as well, I think showed exactly what he is. I think we all know the player that he is and what he's capable of doing. And again, the other night there, I thought he was fantastic. You know, and experience helps in that. He certainly, his attributes help in that, and his character. You know, and his willingness to put himself out there, and he's really impressive at age, and he's been really important for us.
So in a recent interview with your goalkeeper Larmans, he was talking about one of the reasons why he feels there's been an upturn in form is the clarity of the messaging that's coming through to the players. Can you give us an insight into how you go about making sure that you convey to each player what it is you want from them?
Yeah, I mean, you could talk for quite some time on that, you know, in terms of how we want to play, kind of what we want to do for each other, and behaviours, and there's all sorts of things that kind of come into it, really. But yeah, I think I've said it at times over the last few weeks. It's when you're putting a team together and you're putting a team on the pitch, I think it's not always. You try to make it as clear as you can. I think clarity is important. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's simple.
Oh, bloody adverts. Yeah, back injuries are tricky ones to cure. You never really cure them.
Sometimes there's quite a lot of detail that kind of needs to be put across, but I always try and feel that we do it in a simplistic form, really, so the players maybe think it's simple, but there's quite a lot of work behind that. So that's always the balance, I think, for any coach and manager, that you're trying to give the players going out there that their minds are as clear as possible, really, and they know the jobs effectively. So it's a constant balance, but the boys have been great, and anything we have tried to kind of help them with, implement them, give them bits of tips. I think they've all been taking it on board ever so well.
Michael, I just wanted to ask about Manuel Ugarte's yet to sort of start a game under yourself.
Good question.
Had limited playing time. What do you see his role at the moment? What does he need to do to get back into the side?
Yeah, Rick, thank you, mate.
Yeah, listen, Manu, I like Manu a lot. He's been terrific around the group and hugely impressed with his attitude and how he goes about it, and his training qualities, and he's got a lot of really good attributes. Manu, I think that it's when the team's winning, there's obviously a big upside to that. And there's always for the one or two boys that maybe haven't played so much. Obviously, it makes it a little bit tougher to get in the team. But I think that creates that competition as well in a real healthy way, that everyone's pushing each other. And Manu's obviously desperate to get
this bit. I know
it's full of excitement. You get to kind of peak years, which kind of where you're at, and you feel good and everything's there, but there's obviously you've had a few ups and downs along the way, and then I think you start getting towards the later times, and experience that you've gained then makes you a better player, or should make you a better player from learning from that. And I think we've seen that with Harry's performances of late, really, of
Harry Maguire
what he's brought to the team, and he's been so important.
And the reason why
is
because
well
obviously Harry Maguire's up for contract extension negotiations right now, so there's talk of whether he leaves or whether he stays on. From what I'm hearing from Michael Carrick, it looks like they want to keep him on.
Probably was my best years, really, of just being at that sweet spot of being able to do it physically still, but using the kind of experiences to know what's coming, and probably seeing bit of everything by that stage, so it's not a surprise.
Andy? Hi Michael. What's your thought process in choosing the same or very similar team week after week? Is it because you're winning? Is it because there's not as many games as you would hope for with the team being in Europe? Does that present difficulties with the players who are not getting in? How are you managing this?
Yeah, it's definitely something we're aware of. I think it's when we've had. Well, we just had quite a big break and before the last game, and when there's a lot more games, I think, in terms of squad and being rotations or having to change things for physical reasons or game to game, I think that comes into play. It's obviously the challenge of managing the group. There's huge positives to it, and the results we've had in playing well, winning games mostly. I think that's the huge positive, but there's certainly a big awareness from me and the staff of how important everybody is in the group, and it's something that we do have to manage, So there's a balance to it, but there's definitely a big positive to the fact that we're in a good run of form. And even though sometimes it's the same players on the pitch, I think game to game we've changed things, we've tweaked things. Some of the front players have played in different positions. Luke, for instance, has played in different roles when we've been in possession, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's copy and paste and we go again, but there's certainly a feeling of trying to keep the momentum as best as we can as well.
Hi Michael, can I just ask about Ben? There's been quite a few calls for him to start after his goal-scoring record off the bench, but is there an argument for why break up a winning formula when can you leave a player of his ability on the bench and in like a Solskjaer role kind of thing, like a super sub? And what does it say about the character that he is that he can come on and make as much an impact as he has?
I just think the whole thing is a real positive, to be honest. I think it's certainly not a decision that is a one that I look to in a negative way or anything like that. As I said, we're playing well as a team. We've been winning games, and I'm still not getting carried away and thinking that just carries on. But certainly within the group, and the forward players have scored a good number of goals so far. And Ben's been so good, in so many ways for us. And it's really not a drama, believe it or not. For kind of how people see it, it's not a drama, and I think it just shows the qualities Ben's got for what he's produced over the last few weeks. And if and when he starts the next game or the one after, I think it's.
I get the feeling he's not starting next game.
He's doing so many good things as well as the team that it's a good position for us to be in.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there with Michael Carrick. I mean, if you really want to watch his full presser, you can do. It's kind of what shall I say? Yeah, it's he's he kind of speaks really quietly. I mean, he kind of like, he's just, he's a steady kind of guy, isn't he? I mean, he kind of gets a bit boring, I must admit. I'm not a big fan of his pressers, but then so what? I mean, he's just one of those guys who you kind of look to and think, well, yeah, he's steady. He's steady, and I don't mind that. I don't mind him being the way he is because, yeah, it doesn't make a difference to me at all. It doesn't make a difference. Anyway, I've got some breaking news, guys. I've got some breaking news, and whoever's tuned in right now, you're going to be lucky enough to kind of hear it off the cuff right now. The breaking news is that Man United are in talks with Morello. Morello, the centre-back for Nottingham Forest. Man United are in talks with him. I'm going to do some more digging around as to find out what's going on and where they are up in them talks, but they are in talks with Morello, the centre-back for Nottingham Forest, to join Man United. This guy is actually really, really good. I like the look of him. I liked him when we played against him. Man United are in talks with Morello. That's the breaking news. We were hearing that United were in talks with, or were looking to go in for Van de Ven. And then the news started coming out that United were looking for a new centre-back, and they are in talks or looking at other options. So the breaking news I've got tonight is that Morello is someone that United are in talks with. Nottingham Forest are going to be approached for a summer move for Morello. Now, this kid is very good. The Brazilian centre-back is highly rated. And again, he's another one who's got masses of pace, just like Van de Ven. But I'd argue he's got a bit more grit and determination. He's a little bit short compared to, say, Van de Ven and Schlotterbeck and the others names that we've been mentioning that have been linked to United, or people have been saying that United should be going for. But he's got that Leacher kind of play style, really aggressive, really gets in your face, is not scared of a tackle, is very aggressive, and he is very good. And when we played against him away from home at Nottingham Forest, I pinpointed him as one of their best players, and I was like, look, after Anderson, for me, Murillo was a standout player for him. And it does not surprise me that United are going for someone like him as well. Nish, welcome. And you're saying we should have both. We have to get Van de Ven or Morello. For me, this is huge. This is huge news because it tells you United are intent on getting a new centre-back in. And just what we heard from Michael Carrick just moments ago about how he's happy with Harry Maguire. The question is, do we give him a new contract or do we go out there and buy a new centre-back instead? Me, it's the latter. I think we should go out there and buy a new centre-back that we can look forward to for many years to come. Harry Maguire is reaching the end of his lifetime, essentially, on the pitch. So why kind of hang on and give him another season when we could possibly go out there and start rebuilding this squad and build it by bringing in a new young centre-back who can do a much better job. Now, we've just also heard of De Ligt. Now, he's picked up another injury, another major injury, another back injury. And I think the club are worried. Now, they're not being very open and transparent about what the problem is with De Ligt and how quick he's going to come back. If he is going to come back this season, from what I've just heard from Michael Carrick, I'm going to make a call that I don't believe De Ligt is going to come back this season. That's what we're facing right now. De Ligt will not be coming back from his injury this season. It sounds like they don't have a clue what the hell's going on with him. It's a back injury, which is always tricky because there's not really any cure for it. It's just rest, rest, and rest, and hope that one day he gets back up and he thinks, right, okay, do you know what? I can go again. So for me, that is why United, I think, are looking for backup options, because they might have a problem where it's a long-term problem with De Ligt and they might feel like he's not the player that can give them the games that they need, especially in the next year if we qualify for Champions League and we're staying the competitions, unlike this year. But we need backup options. So De Ligt, if he's a worry and Harry Maguire's got one foot at the door, of course United will be working on bringing in a new centre-back. So this is breaking news. Literally, I've got a message about an hour or two ago where I kind of like I heard that, look, Man United are in talks with Morello, but then I was waiting for someone else to confirm it as well. And I got confirmation from the other source as well saying, yeah, United are definitely pursuing centre-back options right now, and they are in talks with several teams for centre-backs, and this seems like it's a big deal. Yes, we've got the youngsters as well in as Nish just said, Haven could actually play as a 6. He used to be a midfielder anyway. We've got options in Haven, and we've got Euro, and yeah, look, they are brilliant, and I think they will play a huge part in Man United's season next season. They will, of course, but right now I feel like United will need to go out there and sign experienced centre-backs, especially if Harry Maguire is leaving, if there's no confirmation whether he's going to accept a salary reduction and an extension of 1 year. He might feel like he could go and play somewhere else. He might feel like he'd get paid better if he goes and plays for West Ham or any other club like that's been linked to him in the past. So Harry Maguire might be thinking, right, okay, if United are going to offer me half the salary that I'm on right now, I'm going to just reject it and go elsewhere. And yeah, they need, and I think that's again leverage for United. If they've got options elsewhere and they've got Murillo and somebody else coming in like Van de Ven, then they can use that as leverage with negotiations against Harry Maguire. They could say, well, look, we're offering you this and you can take it or leave it because we'll just go and sign somebody else. So I think that is another huge thing playing out right now behind the scenes. So we're going to watch this space. Of course, we're going to bring you any updates on this as soon as we get this. This is huge news. Another centre-back linked to Man United, but this time it's not just a link. This is confirmation that United are in talks with Nottingham Forest for their centre-back Morello. And we've also heard that Morello, the Brazilian centre-back, wants to join Man United. That is the early news coming out. I mean, I'll get it confirmed and I'll check it again and again before I can really confirm everything. But the news coming in early doors is that Morello wants to move to Man United in the summer. This is going to be great news if we can sign someone like him, because I feel like he is a fantastic centre-back. Ahmad has to play in that 10 role now. He's got bullied on the wing last game. Yeah, he had a poor game last game. I mean, he wasn't as good as he should have been. We need 2 new wingers, and Boomer isn't a winger. I like him and Sesko sharing the 9 role. I think the first concentration will be on those midfield positions and centre-backs, and possibly then they'll look at their forward positions. I feel like what the news coming out from United is that, look, they're happy with their forward line right now. They feel like they've done well in the last summer transfer window and they've made enough signings to get goals. So they've got enough goals in the team. Now what they're trying to do is shore up the team at the back. So bring in a defensive centre mid player and, of course, bring in at least one centre back before Harry Maguire decides that he's off. But I'm going to be off right now. I'm off, guys. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's been on the show tonight. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with, of course, more details about this Morello deal, because this is just breaking. I kind of, like I said, it's only been an hour or so where I've kind of found this out, but I will come to you tomorrow morning with another show and break everything down for you, and hopefully have some concrete information about what is actually going on with talks with Morello and how far advanced they are. They might be quite far on. It might be another Kuna that we're doing with Morello. Remember last season, we had Kuna already sealed and delivered even before the season ended. So I think United might be trying to do the same kind of transfer there, getting them done before the season ends and everyone goes off for international duty. They know they won't have time to do things then. So right now is the best time to negotiate and get deals done before the season ends and the World Cup kicks off. Which midfielder do you reckon we get? If I'm taking a bet, I would say it's probably going to be Baleba, knowing Ineos and the way they operate in terms of penny pinching. If it was my choice, I would go for Anderson. It's quite clear. He's clear. He's way ahead of the pack in terms of what he offers on the pitch and what he can do for us. And he will be a game changer. He will be someone that, comes into this United team and really cooks with the team. If you bring in Baleba, I think it's a huge risk right now, given his current form. I don't feel like it's someone that we can bring in and just slot in and just kind of forget about that position. It's going to be someone that we're going to be taking a risk on because we're not sure what kind of player he's going to be and whether he's got the professionalism to carry on playing in that position and play well for United. So for me, there's some huge concerns on Baleba. For me, it would have to be Anderson all day long. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.